Hello, folks. Welcome to today's football predictions of Besiktas. Another very beautiful Wednesday morning, and once again, we are back with our predictions as usual. We always look at football matches going on across the globe, and we are able to come up with our games by selecting a few of these games that are going on and looking into the previous results that they have. Using those data, we always come up with the best possible verdict for each of these matches. That's exactly what we do on a daily basis here, and that's what we're going to do in a short while. All right, before we head on, we want to ask those of us who are coming across our video for the first time, take our time to subscribe as well as remember to join our membership, our channel membership, our VIP special where we put out games that we believe to be more likely, having more likelihood of coming out correctly. Do endeavor to join. We also won our VIP games yesterday and other days. All right, do endeavor to join so that you will always enjoy the perks that are there also. So that being said, without further ado, we head to the business of today and we'll look at football matches that we have today. And we'll start with the game in the Russian Cup. We'll have a Locomotive Moscow who will be up against Baltic. And looking at the stats for each of these two sides, when you look at how the two teams fared in recent games, you can see Locomotive Moscow out of the last 6 matches have won 4 matches, and they've also had two losses out of the last 6 games that they had. And Baltic, on the other hand, winning 2 matches and also drawing 3, as well as losing one match out of the last 6 games. All right. When you look at the performances from home and away perspective, you can see the home side that Locomotive Moscow, have actually done fairly well from home, winning 5 games out of the last 10 home matches. They've also had 3 draws as well as 2 losses from home. Okay, and the away side, on the other hand, we could see Baltica winning 5 games from away as well, and they've also had 4 draws as well as one loss. And also, we should also bear in mind that Baltica is actually playing the second division of Russian league, while Lokomotiv Moscow is actually in the top flight of Russian division. And the last time they met was in that was July. That was last year, last month. In also that was actually in the club friendly, and we saw Lokomotiv Moscow winning on that very occasion by 4 goals to 1. And prior to that, we saw Lokomotiv Moscow beating this very side from away. That was in the Premiership of last season, and they won on that very occasion by 3 goals to 1. So here we'll be going with the home side Lokomotiv Moscow to win outrightly in this very encounter. So home win, that's a value for that very game. All right, and it takes us to the next for today, and it is in Estonia. Estonia Australia, where we have Kursare who will be up against Paid. All right, when you look at recent matches for these two sides, you can see that Kursare, the home side, have been able to achieve 2 victories in the last 6 matches. They've also lost 4 matches out of those 6 games that they had so far. And the away side, Paid, on the other hand, have won 3 games and a draw. They've also lost 2 matches out of the last 6 matches that they had so far. All right, looking at how the two teams fared from home and away perspective, you can see that playing from home, Kursare have won 4 games and also lost 6 matches in the last 10 home matches that they have so far. And the away side, Paid, on the other hand, have done very well, winning 6 games and losing 4 matches in the last 10 away games that they have so far. All right, the last home game that for the home side had Kursare had, they actually lost that very match by 3 goals to 1, and we saw Pai doing very well in recent games. The last league away match that they had, saw them winning against Magpies by 3 goals to 2. Pai had been doing so very well from away in recent times. Barring the last game they had from away, which saw them losing to AIK. But when we look at how they fared on head-to-head basis, you could see that last time they met was in May of this very year. It was a 1-1 draw on that very occasion. But prior to that, we saw Paid beating this very side, 9 times out of 10. The last meeting was a 1-all draw, but out of the last 10 meetings between the two sides, Paid have always won, and they won 9 times out of 10. So we are going with their away side to do very well in this very one. We expect Paid, their away side, to win outright in this very encounter. We win. That's what that is. Okay. And we head to the next for today. It is in Iceland Division 1, where we have Keflavik will be coming up against Grindavik. All right, when you look at the stats for each of these two sides, looking at the home side, Keflavik in the recent 6 matches that they had, we saw them winning 3 matches and a draw, and also losing 2 games in the last 6 games that they had so far. And Grindavik, on the other hand, have won 2 matches. They've also lost 4 matches out of the last 6 encounters. All right, and when you look at how the two teams fared from home and away perspective, you could see that the home side, Keflavik, in the out of the last 10 home matches, have always, have actually won 5 games and 3 draws. They've also lost 2 games in the last 10 home matches that they had so far. And Grindovik, on the other hand, have been a side who also achieved 5 victories in the last 10 away matches. They've also had a draw, but have lost 4 games. The last away game they had saw them losing it. But also the focus in here is actually goal scoring. Seeing that for the home side, Keflavik have also, their matches have actually produced a lot of goals. When you look at the recent games that they had, 7 times out of 10, they've had 6 times out of 10 rather, they've actually produced over 2.5 lots of goals. The last 3 home matches that they had even produced over 3.5 goals each of the last 3 games that they had so far, from home. And the away side, on the other hand, have also have a very, very similar situation. 8 times out of 10, their matches have actually produced over 2.5. That's the reason we are going to expect to see lots of goals in this very one. And on head-to-head basis, the last 5 meetings between the two sides produced over 2.5. So definitely, we're going to expect to see goals here, and we're going with the 3 goals at the minimum to occur here, and over 2.5. That's our value for that very one. And we head to the next, which I'm going to be the last for today. We have a game in the Europa Conference League where we have Istanbul Basaksehir, the Turkish side, coming up against the Vikings FK, the Norwegian side. All right, when you look at the start for these two sides, you see that the home side, Basaksehir, have won 4 matches and a draw, losing 1 match in the last 6 games that they had at the same times. And the away side Vikings, on the other hand, have won 4 games. They've also lost 2 matches out of the last recent 6 matches that they have so far. And when you take a look at the performances from home and away perspective between the two sides, you can see that Basaksehir have won 5 games from home. They've also had a draw, but have lost 4 games out of the last 10 home matches. And the Vikings, on the other hand, have won 7 matches from away, and they've also had a draw and 2 losses in the last 10 away games that they had so far. Let's also remember the fact that this is actually the second leg of this very tie. We saw them in the first leg. Basaksehir from away was able to achieve victory against Vikings on that very occasion, winning by 3 goals to 1 against Vikings. So Vikings will be looking to make amends for that very loss. Even though they're playing from away on this very occasion, so they'll be looking to score as much goals as possible, as well as the home side, doing so very well here. So we'll be expecting lots of goals in this very encounter, and we're going with that and over 2.5 to occur in this very one. So minimum of 3 goals and over 2.5. That's our value for that very one. All right, that concludes it for us today on BetCraft. Predictions. Wish you the very best of luck and hope your ticket goes green. Remember to play responsibly as football matches. Sometimes it may not be exactly what it presents. Also know that the other games that we have for you today that we predict, we'll be putting it on the VIP special group. Our channel membership. Do endeavor to join so that you don't miss out on these very perks. We believe that the games that we put out there are actually more likely to come out correctly. And do endeavor to join. You can find the link in this in the description of this very video to join our VIP special group. All right. Also, anyway, join around this very video can as well serve you. That being said, tomorrow is another day. We'll be back with our predictions. Until that time, keep winning.